Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cardinal Territory. Jim Hayes alongside Kyle Gibson. And the empty square is where Lance Lynn hopefully will be at some point. It's like the Brady Bunch almost. You can point at it. Hey, where's Lance? Lance is was supposed to be settled into the airport as he's got a flight, and he got hung up going through
TSA got him,
security.
Jim.
He got
TSA
him.
got him. He's gonna have to
Yeah.
get, I don't know, maybe he didn't pass the background check for pre-check, or I don't know, maybe he didn't pony up for clear. This is the only time I'm ever gonna make fun of him because he's not here. Obviously, I'm scared to make fun of him when he's on the show, but can't believe he didn't pony up for clear. It's like
Yeah, what a
$75 a year,
cheapskate.
Lance. Come on, what are we doing?
He's sitting on a boatload of money. What a cheapskate. All right, we can say that because he's not here. But the winter meetings have come and gone. The Cardinals very quiet, but there were some moves that I want to get your input, hopefully Lance's input as well, but some moves that may impact what the Cardinals are looking to do. So uh, Pete Alonso signs a 5-year, $155 million free agent deal with the Orioles that could create a lane for Willson Contreras, as the Mets probably at this point have a vacancy at first base. But a little bit about Alonso, too, because I kind of feel like with all the big sluggers, he gets underrated. This guy just turned 31, 516 career slug. He's hit 34 homers or more in 6 of his 7 seasons. I mean, he's a legitimate power bat. And to me, I look at what the Orioles are doing. Kyle used to pitch there. They're not messing around now.
No, I think that's a great move for him. I love Mountcastle. He's been a guy, he's a glue guy in that locker room, and he's a guy that I feel like they've tried to move or tried to get going because when Mounty's going, he is a game changer for that lineup. But you look at Pete, and I just like how he adds some hit to it as well. A little difference for between him and Schwarber to me. Obviously, Alonso plays defense, so he probably got a couple extra on the AAV there, but. You have a little bit more hit to it. Schwarber has more walks, but there's real value in getting hits. Sometimes a walk doesn't drive in a guy from second all the time. Sometimes you need that hit. So adding a little bit of hit factor to that, I think, is really big. But you lose some of the power. But everything I've heard about Alonso is he's a great guy. He's going to fit into that locker room well. They brought in that fence in left field, so I'm sure that might have been a little bit more attractive for him as well. But he's hitting City Field too. That's the thing. He's hit in not exactly a great home park his entire career. So to have 34 or more or whatever you said there, it's really impressive. Obviously, he's the home run guy that believes he's the best home run hitter in the game at all times. But mixing in, I think he led the league in doubles. Mixing in 40 plus doubles, he was almost a 40-40 guy. It's impressive for a first baseman and for any power hitter for that fact.
And he's hit 50 homers, 50 plus in the
Yeah.
season, but he did it
Yep.
earlier in his career. So his name kind of gets off the list when you're talking about big boppers, but you're talking about a guy who changes the complexion of your lineup just by plugging him in. And again, he has a position first base where Schwarber doesn't. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it is important. I think defense earlier in his career was probably a little bit better. But I mean, I think there's getting with certain coaches. There's a video that I've seen about Bobby Dickerson when he was with the Orioles with working with Trey Mancini and getting to the ball. Like, it's really big to get with a coach at first base, and that can really really help you with your hands. First base is I feel like a very underrated position because you just see most of the throws go to him. And if it's not scooped in the dirt, you're like, oh well, I can't. I mean, don't blame the guy for not scooping it. But then you see a guy like Goldie. You see some of the better gloves around the league. Hosmer was always good. Olson's good. You see those guys, how many balls that hit the dirt that get caught. Then your infielders realize, hey, that guy really saved me right there. Harper's another guy that transitioned really well and played first base. And first basemen can do a lot. So I think with a little bit of glove work here and there, I think he can, have those defensive numbers up and be big. But if he's a DH in 2 or 3 years, they missed out on Schwarber. If he's a DH in 2 or 3 years, then he's the same guy that you were getting Schwarber to be, for his whole career too.
It's a perfect segue into Willson Contreras, a guy who was a catcher. Now that's putting it out there that maybe he could catch again if he's still with the Cardinals. I don't buy that part. But he transitioned to first base. I had my doubts. He was really, really good at first base. I was surprised how easily that he was able to pick that up. So, first off, I think folks in New York would go crazy for Willson Contreras, if in fact that's even part of the discussion, because Wilson told me and other media members that at the end of the season he wanted to stay, but apparently there's some movement with that. But don't you think Wilson would be a good fit for the Mets, especially since Alonso is gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think New York seems like for whatever they're trying to do here, they're either trying to shake up the core a little bit or they're trying to add some guys to who they believe is their core between Lindor and Soto and Vientos. So they're obviously trying to add some new blood in there, and I think Wilson would be a great fit for a lot of teams. I obviously hope he stays in St. Louis, but yeah, defensively at first base. One thing about catchers going to first, especially in today's game, you see a lot of catchers on fastballs, especially not going down the block and really using their glove to scoop and push it forward. And if they can reach for that breaking ball in the dirt, they've gotten so good at reading where it's going to bounce. It's almost like if it's going to bounce behind the plate, they would rather take their glove and push it forward so that they don't go to their knees and give that runner an easier read to take the extra base. So I feel like Wilson's transition at first was a whole lot easier because he was good back there doing that. So for him to just go from pushing the ball forward to catching the ball at first base seemed like a pretty easy transition for him.
And he's athletic.
Hey,
Hey, everybody!
hey, there he is.
Hey,
Made it. Made it. Everybody good?
No, you haven't made it yet. You got a flight.
Yeah.
You're not there yet.
We're halfway home. We're checked in at
Yeah.
least.
Oh my
yeah, and
word.
you're gonna have to. They're gonna have the boarding process as well. I'm surprised you don't have like some sort of
Kids
VIP
underage.
deal.
Kids underage. Nobody has a real ID because they're not of age. They don't like that. The world we live in now.
No,
Never
but a
heard of it.
kid doesn't need an ID, right? A kid doesn't need an ID.
Yeah, well, when your 13-year-old's 5'8" and looks like she's 21, you have those issues.
So we were talking about the Orioles uh, getting Alonso 5 years, big contract, 150 million plus, and we're talking about whether Willson Contreras, who made a great transition to first base, seems like a good fit for the Mets if he's willing to waive his trade. Just your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, that definitely fits. You're looking at they need a right-handed bat. They need some power. They need some. They need to insert some energy in that lineup, probably from losing a guy like Pete. So I definitely think that that's kind of a place that fits for him. And I think some other pieces that the Cardinals have so called been saying that they're on the block kind of fit too. So there might be a way that I think it could work out where, hey, they take the money and they kind of maybe there's a reliever. I think they're looking for a back end reliever because they've lost two. Maybe that's a fit for JoJo too. So there's a lot of things that fit with that trade if they're really for sure trying to move those two guys.
Tell me if I'm crazy on this, but they traded Nimmo to Texas. They need an outfielder, and a lot of teams apparently are interested in Newt, even though he's coming off the two heel surgeries. He seems like a fit for the Mets. Am I crazy?
Yeah, and then you now you throw a third guy in there. Now it's kind of a no doubter, just to see what's available, and that's a lot. The Cardinals are probably going to want a lot for all three of those guys in one group. So it's going to be the question of, hey, what package is available to actually make that happen? But the three guys that are most talked about on the trade block are a fit in New York, and to be honest with you, so's Nato. Arenado's a fit for New York too, needing a right-handed bat, a guy that can pull homers in that ballpark with the way it's set up. And last year he was talking about being okay with playing first if need be to make a trade work too. And it just so happens that they need a right-handed hitting first baseman. And the Cardinals technically have two guys that fit that mold right there for them. So it's going to be interesting if something works out with the Mets because all signs point to at least one of those right-handed hitters and maybe a reliever and or Newt going there because that's what they're looking for. And Newt's probably on the cheaper side than the free agent guys are. So maybe you can mix match that with Nato or Contreras' contract where you don't have to eat any money.
And the
Yeah, my
Mets,
question would be though,
yeah,
is can you get enough out of that package to make it worth moving a controllable reliever and Newt Bar. Because once again, I know Newt struggled, but his floor is an MLB average hitter and an above defender. That's valuable. With his ceiling being, borderline all star, maybe a Gold Glover out there. So I mean, I think there's real value to trade there. But do you use the controllable reliever and Newt Bar to offset paying for Willson, paying for part of that? Maybe, but I still think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're just making a move just to get rid of the money. I think
They
you
are
got
they
to
are
find
flush with young
something.
pitching prospects. So the Mets have a
Yeah.
lot of young, talented pitchers in the
I'm just
pipeline.
I'm going off of the Sonny Gray trade. They're looking like they're figuring out a way for offset money more so than they are for the package they're getting back. So I mean, it just depends, but I don't think Wilson's contract doesn't look terrible right now
No.
because of
Mm-mm.
you know what I'm saying. So they might not even have to eat any of that. And I was going to say that from the get go. I would say Nato is the one that everyone's saying, oh, they're going to have to eat some money to make that move. So if you're talking about Newt and Wilson and JoJo to New York, if that's a possibility, they should get a boatload of players or some, or at least you're trying to get four high end guys that are either ready for big leagues or they can you're looking at mid seasons, and then next thing you know and you got to pick what you want, right? Where am I at? My second base of the future is probably good. My shortstop of the future is good. Am I good with I'm good at catcher with all the catchers that I have. Okay, now where do I fill in around? Do I get do I get a couple corner outfielders? Do I get IN starters upside? It just depends on what you're looking for. So there's a lot of different ways they could go about trading those guys. And, obviously New York's a fit with they don't have Pete's money. They got off the books. So they've got a lot of, there was 35 to whatever he's making last year that you can get all those guys for less than 30. It's
All
not a
right,
bad. It depends on how much you're willing to give up prospect wise to make that happen.
we're going to take a break here. We'll come back with more. I was just curious to get your guys' thoughts on the Cardinals not pulling any deals. It's early in the process. We get it. You are watching Cardinal Territory on the Foul Territory Network. Missouri, your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Missouri fans know game day, the tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring the same energy to every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code FOUL. The crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
The hot stove keeps cooking, but the Cardinals didn't get anything done at the winter meetings. Chaim Bloom was on Foul Territory, where he said, look, we didn't do anything, and we have nothing up our sleeves, but, the phones work, and we're open for business. Kyle, is there any takeaway you have from the Cardinals not getting anything done during that period?
No, I don't think so. I think what you don't do in this situation, if you're the Cardinals, I think somewhat you've laid out a little bit of your plans. We talked about this maybe early on, with our move here before in the earlier podcast, but you kind of laid out your moves here, what you want to do trading guys, which is somewhat showing your hand a little bit. So if you're going to do that, then I think you have to stick to your asking price because you've essentially already come down by telling them they're available. So um, I think you stick to what you're looking for because, as I still believe, you can always pivot and add a pitcher and add a bullpen guy and maybe an outfield bat, and I think you're a playoff team. So I think that I don't know. I would not give up guys like Donovan and Newt Bar and Wilson just to be making moves and trade.
Lance, you think there's going to be a wrecking ball in terms of players dealt away?
You know what? The more I look at it and the more I see things, I think if I'm good to have what he wants, it's Wilson and Nato gone, and the rest of those pieces stay. And then and then to be honest with you, you figure out which one of them or which couple of them you're going to lock up to make kind of your next wave of the group that's going to build the future with all the young guys that you've acquired in the last half of the season with trade deadlines and this and that. And then you figure out, hey, what free agent pieces that are still here after January 1 that need a job and how do they fill in and how can I get a 1 for 5 here for this guy, and then like Kyle said, then you're looking at a chance to be a contender in the Central if you add the right veteran pieces or free agent pieces that are kind of people are going to call it the scrap heap at the end, but those are guys that are looking to prove their worth. They're looking to get a 1 year deal and be better to hopefully go into free agency next year. So I think there's a lot of upside to that, especially if you keep Donovan, Newt, and you look at those guys that, hey, here can we go. But even if you keep Wilson and Nato and you look at, oh, now we don't need a right-handed bat that we keep saying we need. So and then you look at that way, it's like, oh, maybe I just add a starter on a 1 year deal. Maybe I'd add two bullpen pieces because I know Leahy's going in the rotation at some point, if not the start of the year. And next thing I know, I've got everything covered along with the arms that I've stockpiled over the last trade deadline to this winter.
I think Leahy starts in the rotation and he gets double-digit wins. I'm a fan of that guy. Last thing, because Lance got to get on a plane, and Kyle, I know, has other things to take care of. I want to ask you about Skubal, right? Everyone's heard the rumors he's going to the Dodgers, and people are freaking out about that. If he goes to the Dodgers, the world is coming to an end. The Dodgers, because they're so good and because they spend more than anyone else, have become the villains of Major League Baseball. Do you sense that people are like there's a backlash against the Dodgers?
I mean, I don't know. I think somebody, I can't remember who laid it out, but I heard it played out pretty good yesterday. Everybody was upset with the Angels for how long? Because they wasted the prime of Mike Trout, right? Like he's played in 3 playoff games. He's still in his prime, but they've wasted him to this point, right? Now the Dodgers go and get Shohei, the best player of our generation and maybe of all time. What are they not doing? They are not taking a chance of letting him play out his contract and not winning multiple World Series. They're saying we've gone all in on Shohei, so we're going all in the rest of the way, and we're going to leave nothing to doubt. And now everybody hates the Dodgers for doing it. So which side do you want it? Do you want to hate the team for not building around Trout, or do you want to hate the team for building around Shohei? Like, I don't know. I think once again we've said this before. Literally every team has the ability to go do this. Every team has the ability. The Pirates, they have the ability to lock up Paul Skeens right now and give him the deal that he wants to stay in Pittsburgh. Every team has the ability to do it. Not every team has the ability to trade for a Tarek Skubal because maybe they don't have the prospect capital. But every team, the Tigers could say right now that we want to lock him up, and they could get it done and have the money to do it. So um, we can hate the Dodgers all we want, but they're making sure that they don't waste the $700 million that they pay and that they're going to pay for the next 30 years because they're paying for this guy for a long time.
Fair point. Is the hatred toward the Dodgers misplaced, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm hating anybody, I'm hating Detroit right now for not paying the kid that's won 2 Cy Youngs for you when he's making pennies technically for what he's worth. So that's the team you should hate. Now the Dodgers are going to give up, what, 6 prospects to get a kid to go do his thing, and then probably give him $400 million, but defer 30 million a year just so he doesn't have to pay taxes. Sorry for being smarter than the rest of you and having a pair. So no, I don't think you hate them. You hate the teams that are not man enough to pay the guys that are there doing the things that you want from them, and then you're scared to pay them when it comes time. So those are the teams you should be mad at.
So I've heard both sides. Hello. Both sides that it could happen, it won't happen. Before we go, Kyle, do you think we're going to see Skubal in a Dodgers uniform?
No, I don't think it happens. I don't think it happens, and I think ultimately he stays in Detroit. I think they find a way to sign
Ten,
him.
10 years, 400.
I know there because he's no pitcher's going to get that right. So like that's not going to happen.
Hey,
The going
what?
years for a pitcher is 6 to 8. So that's what it's going to be. And you say, hey, this is the 40 or 41
What?
that these
What
guys
Garrett
got,
Cole
and here it
get?
is for 6 years.
What Garrett Cole get? He got 10 at
I
360.
yeah, but I don't know.
It's happened.
It has happened, but
I'm
I
just
don't know.
saying, would I do it? No. But if you're his agent, it's got to be north of what Cole got for 10 years. So there's 400.
Might be onto
Yeah.
it. Gentlemen, thank you.
Give me
Lance,
my
safe
money.
travels. You just want to see everyone get paid. I don't blame you.
Pay him. Hey, you get mad at the Dodgers and Shohei. They gave Shohei a bunch of money and then decided to own Japan in every endorsement deal possible. Sorry, they're smarter than everybody. Like
But
It's
that's
by the
just
way,
what it
true.
let's
is.
not forget. Let's not forget with the Shohei deal. Other teams had the chance to do the same thing, right? He
Yeah.
was very open from the reports that he wanted to do this type of deal with whoever it was to help them win right now. Most teams had the ability to pay him over 30 years, and only one
And
team
you'd
And
had
didn't do it.
a lifetime ambassador to Japan. But people are
and
He's
scared.
it's a
paid for
Dodgers
smart
the
are
deal
investment.
ahead of
in
everybody.
1 year. In 1 year,
Smart
he's paid for the
investment.
deal.
Gentlemen, thank you for the thoughts. I feel smarter. Lance, again, safe travels. That's going to do it for this edition of Cardinal Territory. We'll see you next time, and hopefully that episode won't suck.